It's a beautiful day and we are heading across town to see the J-Dot gang. It's about 20 minutes. It's actually really pretty close, except we tend to always hit every light. But it's a beautiful day to drive by downtown and the water looks amazing and we can't wait to be out on it with Miss Rosie, of course. Right, babe?
Where's Rosie?
Rosie is right there. There she is. We're heading out for a day of fun. Hey y'all, welcome to the Sea All Life. I'm Andrea. This is Tom, and we have 2 pups. We're a couple of Texas transplants living the empty nest life to the fullest. For us, that's living part-time on our 44-foot DeFever trawler in San Diego. Our hope is that as you join us on our dreams and adventures, we'll inspire you to discover your own. Yes, we're headed to J-Dock to spend the afternoon on the water with our friends Robert and Mahle. You see, they're in the process of buying a new boat, and we thought we'd take you along for the ride to learn the ins and the outs of purchasing a boat. You'll get the inside scoop on the factors they're considering and how they'll narrow down all the possibilities to find their next dream boat. Wait, honey, there's some strangers in our slip. There's a strange small boat in our slip, baby. Little different profile.
Like
Oh yeah.
We
still have our own stickers here.
What's up, y'all?
Captain Tommy, what do you think about this boat being in our slip on J-Dock?
It's a little strange, but the boat looks good. Robert has done a great job getting it all fixed up to sell. Can't wait to hear what they're going to be getting, what kind of boat they're going to be getting.
Yep, they moved to our old 40-foot slip with their 30-foot boat because they're getting a new one.
That's right.
And I guess if we had to have someone else in our slip, we'd want it to be the fixer and the fun factor, right?
For sure.
Yeah. She's humming. We're heading out on No Name Sea Ray. So as you saw, No Name Sea Ray, owned by our beloved friends Robert and Mahle, is in the slip that Sea All used to be in, and there's very good reason for that. They are upgrading to a larger boat. So even though this boat is only 32 feet, they're in the market for a 40-foot boat. And we thought it would be fun today to just talk a little bit about what we were looking for in a boat, things to look for when it's time to buy a boat, whether you're a first-time buyer, a second-time buyer, or even beyond. What are your thoughts? What were we looking for?
Something that was very seaworthy and dependable, good engines, sound engines, and in really good condition. Well cared for.
And I know
That was the first criteria. Yeah.
And I know we both sort of love the classic look. And
Wood.
you came to me.
I wanted a lot of wood at the time, which I now regret, but that's another story. Yes.
You definitely said, I want a trawler. And I said, what's a trawler?
Yep. Yeah. I wanted something that had a lot of room to it and just very usable, very practical. Yeah, and just very dependable. Dependability was probably my number one important thing. Yeah.
The amazing thing that happened with us is we sort of knew we wanted a trawler. We knew we wanted something a little bit bigger than our 32-foot A-liner.
Yep.
And we looked at exactly 3 boats in one day, fell in love with Sea All, and just bought her. That's not how it works for most people. So today we get a chance to chat a little bit with Robert and Mahle, who have been on a journey with a lot of thoughtfulness and preparation. They've prepared this boat to sell. They've given a ton of thought to what they want next. And what a great way to share with everyone what to look for when you're not just falling into a boat.
We're dealing with a lot smarter people than we were.
Yeah. That's it.
And that will give you advice on how to look for a boat, the process, and buying a boat. And this could be a little bit of a series for us.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may take you along the journey.
Yes,
over the
Robert and Mahle's journey.
Yeah, over the next.
Yeah.
By the way, it's the fun factor and the fixer.
Yeah.
If you remember some of our previous episodes, but yeah, they're on a journey, and we are going to walk through that with them over the coming weeks, maybe a couple of months.
Okay, so we're here with Robert and Mahle, and I'd like to introduce them, more importantly than the fixer and the fun factor, as Rosie's godparents. Yes, you can't see Rosie in the shop right now. So they are in the market to buy a new boat, because you always want a bigger boat. No matter what size boat you have, you always want a bigger boat. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
So they are in the market, and as Andrea alluded to, they have our old slip, so we're totally excited for them. And so this is a little bit of a journey. So they're on this journey to buy a new boat, and we want you to understand maybe what it takes and what Robert and Mahle are going through as far as the process of buying and researching a new boat.
So as you can imagine, we were hoping that Robert and Mahle would bring a beautiful, perhaps even a DeFever trawler into our slip on JDAC.
Never know, we might.
It could happen. So tell us, what are you looking for? How have you narrowed down your search? And what are you thinking right now in terms of your new boat that's going to fit in a 40-foot slip on JDAC?
Okay, well, here's our first. The first thing you should know is that our boat is actually 28 feet. The LOA is 31, but it's like a 28-foot sailboat inside. So we have this area that we call the bathtub that we are constantly passing each other, to get by. So we'd like to not bump into each other as much. So, obviously a larger boat. Also, sleeping in a beaver is not ideal. They don't make good mattresses for them or anything. So, just after being on our boat for so long, and we love our boat, and it's worked great for weekends and anchoring out and things like that, but we realized that we would like to, we enjoy this lifestyle so much, we'd like to spend even more time down here doing this. And to accomplish that, we both need a queen-size bed.
Yes.
We've got a queen-size walk-around bed, because if you've ever made a queen-size bed that has walls on either side,
It's the worst.
it's the epitome of frustration.
The worst. Can I jump in here?
Sure.
We bought our RV from you,
Yes.
so we know.
The wall's only on one
We
side.
know.
It's painful.
Or I guess it's on
So some of the features, as Robert stated, my dream boat would be 3 staterooms, 2 heads, and the 3rd stateroom would be converted to my closet. Woohoo! Now, that's my dream world. Reality says probably not going to happen. Probably going to end up with
I gotta
2
point out,
staterooms
that's
and 2
my
heads.
dream too, because if she doesn't have a closet, I have no closets.
There you go.
And he's going to have to hear about it
Yeah.
every day.
Good point. So what's the process that you've kind of taken on exploring and buying a boat? What are you doing?
We've looked at a lot of
Yeah.
boats.
Well,
where are you looking, for example?
let me lead
Yeah.
up to that. So
Sure.
what we've experienced on our boat has led us to, what we'd like to have in our next boat. But I mean, learn from our mistakes. Not so much our mistakes, but we definitely need to upgrade in size, just because.
Because we want to stay married.
Yeah.
And size matters.
Size matters.
Yeah.
I guess in a few ways.
There's a nice boat behind you, by the way. But I think
Is
it's
that
like
my next boat?
I think it's
Not
like
in our
4 million,
price.
maybe
Right.
5 million. Yeah.
So what we realized, what our priorities are, we'd like to have that queen walk-around bed, closet space, and so to get a queen walk-around bed, you either have to have a large boat with a good-sized beaver or an aft cabin, ideally an aft cabin.
Aft cabin.
So we'd sacrifice a cockpit for the aft cabin, the cockpit being the rear open section of the boat. We
The outdoor
sacrifice
living
that
space. Yeah.
for the master bedroom. And usually those have large salons as well. And
Because we like to entertain.
we'd like to have 2 heads
Yeah.
or bathrooms, as some people call them. And here's a good one. A walk-in shower that is separate.
Yes.
So
No wet heads.
There's a thing called a wet head,
Yeah.
and that means when you shower, you're cleaning the toilet too.
Yes.
We don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No wet heads.
So
No.
the shower is completely self-contained. So a walk-in shower. We'd like to ideally have 2 heads. She could use one, I can use the other. A V-berth that we can use for guests. Maybe a washer and dryer. It's hard to get in a 40-foot boat. In 50s, it's more common. We love to entertain, so we have lots of dock friends and
Flybridge. Need a flybridge.
It's only fitting that whatever boat comes into Sea Y'all's old slip would be the new party boat.
Yes.
Right? What can I say?
So we have a price range of between 100 and 150,000. And so we're looking at, hopefully we can get a Carver 396 that fits the specifications. There are other boats made by Meridian, 366 I believe Meridian. There are quite a few aft cabins that fall into that price range, and you get an early to mid 2000s boat, possibly gas or diesel. Range and dependability we'd like to have, but ideally we're kind of looking for that space. We don't go too far, so that's a few examples of
Usually
boats
we
we're
only go
looking at.
5 minutes from home.
Yeah, we usually go to where we are right now.
Right.
And when you go really far, you can just hop on board Sea Y'all.
Yes.
We
Yes.
intend to.
So some people are going to wonder, okay, everybody knows about Yacht World and maybe even Boat Trader, but what are some other things? Have you considered a broker? What are you thinking about the process?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We would use a broker without a doubt, because it's just like real estate. When you buy a boat, the buyer does not pay any part of that commission. It's
Right.
all up to the seller, and they split the commission, and typically it's 10%. So when you sell a boat, you pay 5% to each broker if there are brokers involved. So, and it is a little complicated from what I understand. I've never done it through a broker. This boat we're sitting in came from Craigslist.
It did.
Yeah. And
And there are other good boats on Craigslist.
yeah, for sure. And rare finds, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming diesel, Robert?
I would prefer diesel.
Okay.
But the gas is acceptable for me too. So I'm well versed in gasoline engines, and I feel I could make them as dependable.
Okay. So my buddy Robert has taught me a lot, number one, but he's also very versed in mechanics and the way things work, and he's a master mechanic, as a matter of fact, in the automotive industry. So I would think, okay, he could just go ahead and buy a boat and inspect it and make sure that everything's in working order, but that may not necessarily be true when you're buying a boat.
Yeah,
So,
let's ask him.
yeah. Okay, Robert, so are you going to inspect the boat and be ready to buy it and look through everything yourself?
Well, to some degree I will, but I will definitely hire a professional marine surveyor, because I'm smart enough to know that if you miss something, it can cost you a small fortune. So a marine surveyor is money well spent. And having the boat hauled out, you do not want to buy a boat without having it hauled out with a surveyor inspecting it. I have a great mechanical background, and as far as the engines, I probably could tell you what's what, but they know specific marine problems that occur that I may have never seen. And specifically the hull, the marine transmissions. I mean, boats are very complicated, far more than say RVs, very specific to the way that they're built for the marine environment. So, and there's a lot of things you can miss. They can really catch you later. We know a few people that have had issues with boats they've purchased, and they probably should have, followed, surveyor's advice.
We've all heard, we bought the perfect boat, and 2 weeks and $40,000 later,
Yeah.
they find a problem
Yep.
because they declined the survey.
Yeah, so you have a surveyor on board, you have normally a mechanic that's down in the engine room at the same time. During your sea trial, you put everything under load. I had limited knowledge on even the process on what would be going on during the sea trial, but we had a surveyor on board who's been doing this for 40 years. We had a mechanic on board that was down in the engine room the entire time that we were at the sea trial. And I was just watching the whole process. The surveyor was putting the boat under maximum load and communicating with the mechanic down below. I had no idea. Thank goodness we had great people surveying our boat. But
And we had a broker who knew that we needed to have all
Yeah.
that done.
yeah, and you know, I knew I had Ford Lehman engines in it, but I had no idea. All I knew was Cummins was good. That's the only company that I heard, a manufacturer that I heard was good. I mean, I wouldn't know a Volvo from a Ford Lehman to a Perkins to anything other than Cummins. So again, you may think you know, you don't know. And this is such a big purchase. It's so important to get people that know what they're doing. And even though, Robert, you know what you're doing, you want the experts there the whole time that it's being inspected.
Molly, I know that when it comes to us women, we have a little bit different eye, few different priorities. It's just a fact. So I know what mine were. Tell me what some of the things you're looking for that might be something that it's not really on his antenna. It's just something that is important to you in a boat this size.
Oh, it's always about the closet space. Always. We've looked at numerous boats and there are never as many cupboards as you need, except for on your boat. You guys have like you have the perfect storage amount.
That's why you need if you
You have cubbies everywhere, you have closets, you have shoe space, hanging space. That's what I want. Probably not realistic for what we're going to get, but kitchen.
Forget that washer dryer.
Washer dryer I really, really want, but
Hopefully separate components.
Yes.
We've heard the combined components
Yes.
don't work quite as well.
that would be my ideal, is if we could have that stackable washer and dryer, separate unit, so we don't have to have 3 hours worth of drying time. That would be fabulous. So that's important to me. Good kitchen counter space to work in, a nice salon where we can sit across from each other and have a conversation. I want to have the dual couches, you know, a sofa and love seat on one side, sofa and love seat on another.
Although I've got to point out, she'd probably cut my half of the sofa off so she could put in a wine fridge.
I was gonna say, wine cellar? What about a wine cellar?
Wine fridge, for sure. Wine fridge. Well, and fridge space is always a big thing on
Yes.
a boat. I mean, you can never have enough fridge space on a boat. So,
True.
hoping to have a, you know, full-size refrigerator, freezer, if we can get that, for sure, 100%.
Okay, so we're wrapping up part one of buying a boat and the process of buying a boat with Robert and Mahle. So, okay, what's next for y'all?
Well, we have to sell the boat we're currently sitting in because we need to use some of that equity combined with what we already have to purchase the next boat. But yeah, it's got a tight boat market right now. So people keep asking us, "Are you looking at boats?" And I'm like, "No, because I already found two that I like and they sold immediately." So right now, if you're in the market for a boat, you've got to be ready to move.
Yeah.
Have the cash on hand, have the loan pre-approved, much like real estate right now.
That's
We
great.
Sell this boat and then we'll start looking.
That's great.
Which is sad, because we love this boat.
I know.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
So
boat.
Maybe boatless for a few weeks to maybe possibly a few months.
That
However,
makes me sad.
you know the saying, the best thing about boating is having a friend that owns a boat.
That's true. And you have a friend in
Lots
the
of friends
tablers.
that have
No,
boats, and yeah,
you have a friend in Tom and Andrea. All
we
right.
appreciate that.
Well-
Absolutely.
It's been an amazing day here out on Glorieta Bay. We hope you'll take a moment to like and subscribe. It's just an easy, free way to help our channel grow.
Help support
We
us.
thank you so much, and
See y'all soon.